Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing air pollution in India and how chronic exposure to polluted air affects the development of children. So, air pollution refers to the presence of harmful substances in the atmosphere, including particulate matter like PM2.5 and PM10, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and ozone. India is one of the most polluted countries globally, with many urban areas regularly exceeding safe air quality standards set by the World Health Organization. In 2021, the WHO updated its guidelines, recommending that annual average PM2.5 levels should not exceed 5 micrograms per cubic meter. However, cities like Delhi often report PM2.5 levels 10 to 20 times higher than this limit, posing serious health risks, especially for children. Children are particularly vulnerable to air pollution because their lungs, immune systems, and brains are still developing, and they breathe more air relative to their body weight than adults. Exposure during critical growth periods can lead to permanent reductions in lung capacity, increased risk of respiratory infections, and altered brain structure and function. In India, where air quality frequently exceeds WHO's safety limits, millions of children are chronically exposed to harmful pollutants. This presentation will examine how long-term exposure affects children's physical growth and cognitive development, with a focus on health disparities across different regions and income groups, and evaluate current and proposed efforts to reduce these harms. According to the South-South Research Initiative, India's rapid industrialization and urbanization over the past few decades have led to a sharp increase in air pollution levels. Major contributors include emissions from an expanding number of motor vehicles, unregulated industrial activity, widespread construction generating dust, and the seasonal practice of burning agricultural residue, especially in northern states such as Punjab and Haryana. These activities release high levels of fine particulate matter, PM2.5, nitrogen oxides, and other toxic pollutants into the atmosphere, significantly degrading air quality in both urban and rural areas. Physiologically, air pollutants like fine particulate matter are small enough to bypass the body's natural defenses, penetrating deep into the lungs and entering the bloodstream. This triggers systemic inflammation and oxidative stress, which can damage tissues and organs over time. In a 2022 study led by Erica Garcia and published in NLM, researchers found that long-term exposure to PM2.5 is associated with impaired lung development in children, leading to reduced lung function that may persist into adulthood. This damage is especially concerning during early life, when lungs are still growing and more vulnerable to environmental insults. In addition to respiratory efforts, multiple studies show that chronic exposure to air pollution may negatively impact brain development in children. Fine particulate matter can cross the blood-brain barrier, triggering neuroinflammation and disrupting neural signaling. This has been linked to impaired cognitive function, reduced academic performance, and behavioral issues. According to a 2024 study published in the National Library of Medicine, Indian children living in areas with high PM2.5 concentrations scored significantly lower on IQ tests and showed more symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, compared to children in areas with cleaner air. These findings highlight the long-term neurodevelopmental risks of sustained air pollution exposure during early childhood. Currently, millions of children in India suffer from respiratory conditions such as asthma, bronchitis, and recurrent infections, all of which are worsened by prolonged exposure to polluted air. According to estimates from Boston College's Global Pollution Observatory, ambient air pollution contributed to over 1.67 million premature deaths in India in 2019, with a significant proportion occurring in children under the age of 5. Health impacts are not evenly distributed. Children from low income families in highly populated urban centers like Delhi and Mumbai are especially vulnerable due to overcrowded housing, poor ventilation, and limited access to healthcare services. These disparities mean that children most exposed are also the least protected. If current pollution levels persist, long term consequences could include chronic respiratory illness, impaired brain development, and reduced academic performance, ultimately lowering future economic and social mobility. A study by Erica Garcia emphasized that early life exposure to air pollution causes lasting physiological and cognitive effects well into adulthood, reinforcing the urgency of intervention. In 2019, the Indian government launched the National Clean Air Program, or the NCAP, targeting a 20 to 30% reduction in particulate matter pollution within 5 years. Key actions include promoting cleaner fuels, tightening regulations on industrial emissions, and controlling seasonal crop residue burning, one of the major pollution sources. Alongside government efforts, several NGOs run community programs to increase public awareness about air pollution's health risks. These initiatives focus on schools, distributing protective masks and indoor air purifiers to children in high risk areas. Despite these efforts, air pollution Despite these efforts, enforcement remains uneven across regions, and many citizens lack sufficient information on pollution hazards. According to a 2024 report by Health Policy Watch, 74 Indian cities rank among the world's 100 most polluted, underscoring the urgent need for stronger regulation and public engagement to make meaningful progress. To better protect children's health from the harmful effects of air pollution, I suggest three important solutions. First, it is very important to increase health education. By including lessons about air pollution in school programs, children and their families can learn practical ways to protect themselves. This can include avoiding outdoor activities when pollution is high and keeping the air inside homes cleaner. Education programs help people understand the risks better and take actions to stay safe. Second, stronger enforcement of pollution laws is necessary. The government should provide more money to improve pollution monitoring so they have accurate information about air quality. They also need to punish industries and people who break pollution rules more strictly. The U.S. News did report that Indian authorities have fined thousands of vehicle owners and construction sites for violating pollution rules in an effort to combat worsening air quality in New Delhi, which has been ranked the world's most polluted major city, but there still needs to be more regulation in such a densely populated country. Helping families use cleaner cooking fuels like LPG and encouraging cleaner ways to travel, such as electric vehicles or public transport, can also reduce pollution inside homes and in the environment. Cooking, smoke, and vehicle emissions are big sources of pollution in India. And third, innovative solutions can empower families directly. Affordable indoor air purifiers have been shown to reduce particulate matter inside homes effectively, improving children's respiratory health. Mobile applications that provide real-time pollution alerts allow families to make informed decisions about outdoor exposure, such as delaying outdoor play or using protective masks when pollution spikes. For instance, the Times of India highlights several apps, including IQ Air Visual, Plume Labs, and AQI India, which offer real-time air quality data. However, it's crucial that these apps are regularly updated to provide accurate real-time information to users. In conclusion, solving the air pollution problem in India needs many groups working together. Governments, nonprofit organizations, schools, and local communities must join efforts to provide education, enforce pollution laws, and support new technologies. Only by working together can we protect children's health and brain development and build a healthier future for all people, regardless of where they were born. Thank you. And these are my references.